All right, we are live. I am super excited, guys. Welcome to this live web class today. And why am I excited? Well, when I started my online entrepreneurship, the first thing I did was not branding. And boy, did it cost me. I'm telling you now, if you're just getting started, something to consider and understand deep down is that your brand is essentially the thing that will live on forever. It is your legacy. You know what Jeff Bezos of Amazon says? Your brand is what people talk about when you're not in the room, right? We always see people going into different companies, marketing many things. Maybe you have one or two or three or 10 different companies you're marketing. You know, I have a handful myself. But the difference between a professional and someone who's an amateur when it comes to branding is that a professional brands themselves, what their core values are, what they believe in, right? And the companies come second. What an amateur does is brand themselves according to the company they're in. And there's a few problems with that we'll get into today. Now, I'm very excited because we have a special guest today, Trisha. Now, she comes from the corporate 9-to-5 world, but she was doing very well there. And one of her key attributes was branding. She would brand CEOs, managing directors, and even politicians. Now, we all know branding a politician is probably the most intense, difficult thing I could ever think of doing. I don't know anything about branding a politician, but I know when I watch politics, when I engage in politics, I'm very aware that they are on brand all the time. So if you can implement these types of strategies into your daily life as a digital entrepreneur, this will help you do things that you need to succeed, right? You're going to need to build credibility. You're going to need to find your own message and share it with the world, right? You have to understand what makes you unique. These are all branding questions that we're going to answer and get into today. How do you establish yourself as a leader? Well, you can't do it without branding. I can tell you that. And at the end of the day, if you're branded correctly and you are aware of what your brand stands for, other people will understand that vibration and they will be attracted to you if they're in a similar situation, okay? If they resonate with what you're doing. And if they don't, and they're vibrating away from you, that's fine too, right? We want to attract people that are like us. We don't want to attract people that are not like us. So if your brand is pure and it's actually authentically you, you're putting yourself in the driver's seat for massive success online. And in the digital world we live in now, anybody can make a full-time income at home, part-time, simply using the phone and a Wi-Fi connection, right? The power we have at our hands with the internet these days is absolutely astronomically ridiculous. We're in the best time to be alive as far as being an entrepreneur goes. Gary Vaynerchuk says it all the time, right? He says it all the time. He talks about how lucky we are and how grateful we should be that we have the power of the internet, that we can connect across the world as we're doing right now, right? I'm sitting here in the Philippines. Trisha's in India. You guys are all around the world. We have guys here in Australia, the States, Canada, Europe. We even have a guy in Africa from here, right? People all around the world coming on one broadcast and sharing information for the betterment of the people. So this is a free web class with Trisha today. I'm very happy to have her here. I'm going to bring her out, let her introduce herself, and she's going to take us through some branding coaching today. I'm very excited for this. I hope you guys brought pens and paper. Take a lot of notes, listen to what she has to say, and remember, this is the first step in your entrepreneurial journey. If you haven't branded yourself already, get on it. And if you have, this is a good opportunity to take a look at your own branding and see where you can improve it and where you can make yourself better. So Trisha, please come on out and share some wisdom with us. I'm super happy to have you here today.
Thank you, Sivi. It's an honor to be here. I'm super excited to be doing this web class in the new year. So, Happy New Year to all of you. And Sivi and I have decided that we will be coming every Tuesday for you and deliver a web class. So, we all we want is that, this 2019 is just super duper rocking for you. We want you to succeed in your business. And that's the reason Sivi and I have come together to do this presentation, this web class for you. And like Sivi said, personal branding is extremely important if you are an entrepreneur. And the thing is, whether you know it or you don't know it, or you're doing it or you're not doing it, you are still creating your personal brand. You are leaving digital footprints in the sands of time. So you want to take it seriously, right? It has to be intentional. It has to be consciously cultivated. You don't want to, just leave it what people think about you. You have to actually go ahead and articulate what people should think about you. So that's personal branding, and I'm so happy that I'm going to be teaching you and giving you a few tips on personal branding, which is really important. So, shall I share it, the presentation now, Sivi? Shall I share my screen?
Yes, please take us through.
All right. Guys, please bear with me, okay? I'm not very great with technical stuff. So, Sivi, just let me know, all right, when you see the presentation slide.
Yep, can see it now.
Okay, great. All right, great, people. So we this is personal branding 101. It's about creating a strong digital footprint for yourself. All right. A little about me. I was working as a marketing and communication specialist in my professional career. I actually retired myself as director of marketing and communications, and I have a master's in commerce and master's in a master's degree in journalism and mass communication with a major in filmmaking. So I've got double master's degrees, and personal public relations strategy, media strategy, personal branding strategy are the three out of the eight core skills that I have in my professional portfolio. So, I was working as a strategist, and owing to my education and experience, I know how to use the mass media effectively for building a strong personal brand. I'm well versed with all the elements of marketing and media, and that's what makes my personal branding strategies unique and impactful, right? Because right now we are, like Sivi said, we are in the digital age. We're so blessed to have the internet, and I don't think there could be a better time to be an entrepreneur. And it's actually a big resource. Internet is a big resource that we have, with the help of which we can go ahead and create a very strong and impactful personal brand, right? All you need to do is be very focused. Okay, just give me a moment, please. Let me just, make it full. Oh, okay. So, it's really important that you do it. And we've got the entire social media platform. And the best part is, all these magazines and newspapers and everyone, they're online, right? You can access all these articles online. So you can actually, because it's digital, you can get a space there. It was quite challenging earlier, but now it is so easy because everything is online, right? So you can just go ahead and attract people towards you because everyone is on the internet, right? And they are searching for people. So if you have a very strong personal brand, you will be attracting some really influential people towards yourself. So if you, and the best part is you can actually get a celebrity status for yourself. You don't need anyone to make you a celebrity these days, but you can become a celebrity yourself by creating a very strong personal brand. So what is personal branding? I'm speaking here in layman's term, okay? Your personal brand is the unique combination of skills and experiences that make you you. Okay, so what do I mean by this? Look, every person is unique. All right, we have our own character traits, we've got our own talents, we've got our own skills, we've got our unique experiences that make us what we are. Okay, so for example, whatever I'm doing today, it is because of the education that I got, the skills that I built, right? That's what makes me me, right? Why is my training unique? My training is unique because, I know all the aspects of mass media, and I know the aspects of marketing. So I know how to marry these aspects or elements and create a strong personal brand, right? Because not everyone has this, right? That they know how to use marketing and they know how to use media, but I know both, right? That's a trait that I have developed, right, by working on it. Secondly, I have got unique experiences, right? I've got unique talents. So this is with everyone, right? No two people are the same, and two people would have special talents, right? So what your work is that you present those skills to the world, the talents to the world. I call that your essence. What is it that makes you you? What is it that makes you so beautiful, right? As a human being, as a professional, what as an entrepreneur, what is your essence, right? How can you serve the world with your skills, right? And like I said, the purpose is the intentional creation of your image in the eyes of the people. You don't want to leave it on their imagination, right? You really want to be working on what people, you want to actually dominate the minds of the people. You have to tell them, not through your activities, what you are and what they should be thinking about you, right? That's personal branding, right? This is what, and it's like, it's with full authenticity, right? I wouldn't say that, oh, you just go ahead and create something different, what you're not, because that you cannot do. If you are creating a personal brand for yourself, it has to be highly authentic. Reason being, you got to give the proofs that whatever you're talking about is true, in the way of results, in the way recommendations, and your achievements, right? So that is like really, really important. You have to be authentic, whatever you are, whether, I don't care if you're a hippie, I don't care if you're an actor, I don't care if you're an entrepreneur, just go ahead and portray your true self to the world. People are really scared that, oh, okay, for example, that I'm a hippie. How can I tell people that I'm a hippie? You definitely can tell the people that you are a hippie, because that's how you create a tribe. You build a tribe, right? Whatever you are, you will always have followers for you. Okay, there would be people who would resonate with their ideas. There would be people who would really love you for what you are. There would be people who would be inspired by you. So that's a really great thing, right? Whatever you are, you will always have a following, and it is through this that you actually build a tribe. And in business, we definitely want to be building a tribe. And if you want to go in for world domination, that's the same thing. You want to build a tribe, loyal set of followers who will follow you to the end of the world. Okay, so now you would be wondering, how do I do that? So, personal branding, you really have to go deep inside yourself. Before you actually go ahead and talk about yourself with the world, portray yourself what you are, you actually need to go deep and think, what are you? Okay, what is it that makes you unique? What is it that you love to do? Personal branding starts with you, right? It's just not that you just come and create something. No, it's like real work, right? You have to go deep inside. You need to know your desires. You need to know what you want to do. You need to know what your goals are. It is so important. That personal branding is a process, actually. It doesn't happen overnight that, okay, you just go ahead and write down something and that happens. And I would like to mention this here. A lot of people actually think that these images, fancy images, these trademarks, logos, and all that stuff is personal branding that is actually not personal branding, but that's called as branding identities, right? So branding identities can be created overnight, but when it comes to personal branding, it is a process and it takes a while. You just have to, and it evolves constantly, right? Your brand evolves with you. That's the thing. So before you go ahead and create your personal brand, you got to ask yourself questions like, who are you, right? You need to know yourself really well. Like I said, what makes you unique, right? Because you are trying to stand out there, right? Not fit in, right? What is your unique serving proposition? That's what Lisa Nichols always says. Not what is your unique serving proposition? How can you help people in your way? Okay. What is your vision for your personal brand? What is your goal with personal branding? What are your professional goals? Like I'll give you, like, for example, professional goals. Like let's say you want to become a model for these leading brands, right? That's your professional goal. So what are you going to do, right? What are you going to do? So you will create an image of yourself. You will be sharing those amazing pictures of yourself, to grab the attention of those people who will give you work, right? If you're into marketing, what you'll do the same thing. You will go to these social media platforms and you will share value. You will share your thinking, on subjects, on marketing challenges. That's all, because that's your professional goal, right? You need a job for marketing. So here we actually, the idea is to attract the right people uh, towards yourself. That's what I would say, that you want to be attracting the right people, whether it's for business, whether it's for job, or whatever. It's because it's an ocean of people and you will know who is where, right? Who's doing what. But when you go ahead and create a professional brand for yourself, a personal brand for yourself, you like positioning yourself for the best things, right? And you are attracting people who would be actually serving your purpose on your journey to to complete your vision. All right, that's the thing. You need to know who is your audience and who can you help, right? That is, you really need to be very clear on your target audience. It's like the most important thing. So if you have started into business, or even if you're into business and you don't know your target audience, you will not be getting anywhere, right? So you want to know whom do you want to serve, because then accordingly you will be building your personal brand. Okay, how can you help the people? For example, what are the challenges? So first, you know your target market, and then you know what are the challenges that they're facing. Now, again, everyone would be doing the same thing, but how differently can you serve their problems, right? That is so important. Like I said, you have to stand out, right? That is your goal, to stand out, because if everyone is doing the same thing, no one is going to notice you, right? So you have to get yourself noticed. What is your X factor? What makes you reliable? What makes you trustworthy? How do you prove that? What's the evidence, right? It's you just can't go ahead and say, oh, I am this, or okay, I've done this. No, what is the evidence, right? What results have you got? All these things are so 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 super important, right? You just like, if you are an engineer, you just can't go ahead and say, oh, I am great in media. So how are you great in media, right? Are you professionally qualified? Do you have any experience? Have you done any projects? So this is what has to be done, right? So until and unless you have that thing in you, you can't go ahead and say that I do this, or I'm good in this, right? Because you don't have an experience in it. So this is so important. Okay, what you can do is, maybe you can take a screenshot of this quickly, And then you can start your homework from today itself, right? From now, and start working on your personal brand. So, how to start branding yourself online? This is the next slide. In addition to these kinds of questions, start thinking about your accomplishments and gather any supporting evidence that can reinforce them. That's what I said. And what are your short and long term goals for your personal branding strategy? Right? So, this is the first step to personal branding, that is thinking, right? First, you need to think through. And seriously, when I started to brand myself, first I really wanted to, I had to do some inner work. I had to go in, I had to, actually make a list of skills that I have, and, what did I accomplish in life with those skills. So you have to do this, it's actually, you need to sit with a notebook and pen and just remember everything. What are your passions? This is also very important. You really need to know your passions, right? What are your passions? Have you worked on those passions? What are your talents, that your gifts that you have you worked on your gifts, or do you really want to start working on it? Because this is, and it doesn't, like I said, it wouldn't happen in a day. You have to keep thinking, and like I said, personal branding is a process, right? You start with a post today, or you start with some activity today, and then it just grows slowly, but it really becomes strong when you're consistent and you keep doing the things that are supposed to be done. Showcase your skills and accomplishments. Once you finish thinking about your goals and what differentiates you from others, now it's time to hone in your and on showcasing your assets. All right, so now um, what's your purpose, what are your passions, your skills. Now, this is the strategy that you have to think about. How will you be showcasing your assets so that you stand out, right? Like I said, you really have to think through the personal branding strategy. It is so important. It is actually a strategy, right? So, like, let's take the example of us online entrepreneurs, right? We're in the same industry, we have the same set of practices. You might be in the same company, everyone is doing the same thing, right? Facebook lives, inspirational posts, all that stuff, right? So if you are doing the same thing, how do you plan to stand out, right? Marketing is just the same, right? You're using the same channels, the same platforms. How do you stand out? This is what you gotta think, right? Like Bob Proctor says, most of the entrepreneurs don't think, right? And that is so important that you think. It is like thinking is a process. You think into results, you think and grow rich. See, thinking is really important, right? And you really have to think, what different are you going to do from the others so that people notice you, right? Everyone is doing Facebook lives, everyone is going to YouTube, everyone is going to Twitter, everyone is going to uh, all these, Pinterest. Let me tell you one thing, people really, really, I think it's a bit irrelevant here, but I think it's important. Don't go on engagement. People are really, really happy. Oh, I've got this phenomenal engagement on my wall. The thing is, engagement and following are just two different things. What you want to be focusing on is following, right? Maybe 400 likes and love on your post doesn't make sense, right? Even if you're having 100 people who truly follow you, who resonate with you, that makes more sense, and that's going to be more impactful. So always focus on building a following and not an engagement, right? Like I said, you can do this by writing out the accomplishments that make you proud, listing instances when people acknowledge your work. So I'll give you an example here. When I came into this online world, I thought that, I'm going to probably say goodbye to my professional portfolio because it's got nothing to do with online business. But, when I started my coaching, I was like thinking, all right, what different can I give people? So this is where I had this aha moment that, oh wow, I have got this media experience of, I've got this experience of media strategy, public relations strategy, and personal branding strategy. I said, oh wow, I can definitely integrate it in my training, and this is going to be different from other trainings because I am actually going to be teaching marketing and media both, which is like really important, right? If you know how to use mass media properly, you can actually go ahead and give yourself um, a superstar celebrity status. That's what you can do. This is how you identify what's different in you. Everyone has this difference, right? So I actually had to do so much of thinking. I had to write it down. I had to see, do I have my credentials? If I'm saying this, can I actually, do I have something to support it? Like I said, it's a homework before you first go ahead and do it. You got to sit with a pen and paper and just write it through. Declaring your personal brand. You have to think holistically about what you are projecting and the impression that you want to leave with anyone who searches for you online. So, this is like I said, so much of, so you got to be in touch with yourself, right? It is really, really important. Like, I'll give you my example, right? I have got multiple passions and I have been working on them, right? So I'm an author. I'm going to be releasing my first self-published book this year. Okay, then I'm an online business coach. I am an entrepreneur. I love to cook. There's so many things, and I just do everything together. So for me, it's a bit challenging because I've got a lot of things that I do, and they're all kind of related to each other. Not the cooking, but other stuff, right? So this is how you have to weave all your skills, all your passions together to create a brand for yourself, right? That is so important. So when I am creating a brand for myself, I make it sure that I am introducing all my elements to the world because this is what Trisha is. So you got to do the same thing. What do you stand for? Because that's when you know what you stand for. That's when you want those. You need to build a tribe. You want a particular kind of people to follow you, right? Who resonate with you, who have the same philosophies, the same morals, the same values, the same interests like you, right? Because you want to be in our business, we do business with friends. It's actually a friends for life business, right? So what we do is we want to be working with friends, right? It's just in a lounge. If we're sitting in a lounge, we like to talk to people. We would instantly hit up a great conversation with people whose interests are like us, right? So, for example, if someone drives a Harley Davidson, it's good to attract people who drive the Harleys because the people who drive Harleys, they've got a different mindset, right? They're adventurous. So if they are like, if like they wouldn't be getting along very well with say creative people, right? Until and unless this person has a creative streak in him, or maybe anything XYZ, maybe I don't know, a musician or an author, because they're going to be talking about travel and their bikes and all that stuff. So a person who's not interested in bikes will not get along with them, right? So they wouldn't like to do business with people who don't share the same mindset, the same interests, right? This is so important. Write a succinct description of your personal brand and bio, as well as longer versions. You will use these variations of your biography and personal brand statement for your social media profiles. This is how you make your brand cohesive but still have unique content available on different platforms. This is appealing to users and search engines. Like, we really want to be search engine friendly, gotta be alike. Right? So now this writing process alone is so evolving. I'm like still writing it. I've been consciously creating my brand for the past 2 years, and like I've come a long way, and I just keep writing, right? I just keep writing because you got to be really articulate, right? In what, like I said, in what you want to communicate about yourself to the people, right? That's so important. So first I was only entrepreneur and marketer, now I'm a coach, so my brand has evolved, right? So this is so important that you pay attention to this, and you really write the description well, right? You create a great brand statement for yourself. This is what you have to do. Like, this is the work that you have to do. It is so important. Now, these are the three pillars of personal branding. Pay attention to this, because these are what are the vehicles for building a very strong and impactful personal brand. Vulnerability. The thing is, like I said, that you really have to get vulnerable with people. What does that mean? It's showing your true self, your authentic self, what you are. Okay, I'll give you an example from my life. So I am a person who tried to end her life. I am someone who was in depression for 12 years, and I came out of it, right? I transformed myself on my own, and this is something that I've shared with the world, right? That I tried to end my life. I was in depression for 12 years, but today I am such a happy person. This is the result. And how did I do it? There were a set of practices that I followed to get here where I am today. I'm so happy, right? This is the thing. Vulnerability. Like, the best way to share your vulnerability is stories, right? The different kinds of stories that I share, I teach my students. Best way is vulnerable. I mean, the best way to share your vulnerability is in the form of stories, right? I've seen people, oh, just write, oh, I'm a suicide survivor, oh, I'm this. That doesn't matter, right? That's just a statement, or just a term that you are using. Like, I am a suicide survivor, so what did I do? Right? That is the process from which I became from being a depressed and bipolar person, severely depressed person with a bipolar disorder, to becoming a happy person and changing lives today. What was my journey? It is in the journey that people are interested. And how do you build a tribe with it? There would be so many people who maybe they've tried to end their life, they are depressed. Now they see me, right? People have reached out to me, they thanked me. In fact, this was my biggest achievement. The one this when this lady reached out to me and she said, "Trisha, thank you so much for your Facebook Live. I was going to end my life. You saved me." Do you see this? Did I do anything special? No. Was I posing off? Was I showing off? No. Personal branding is not about showing off. Showing who you are at your core. What's your element? What's your essence? This is that's the reason it's number one in my list. Vulnerability, right? It is sharing your journey into everything, whatever lessons I've learned from life, I just weave it in a story and share it with people, because You really, you know what, if you want to be a successful marketer, you really should know how to write stories. And by this, again, I would say that it's no rocket science. If you write with your heart, you would just get the right words and expression to write your story. And then, of course, you can just go on and hone your skills. This is number one. Whatever you are, my mentor told me one day, Trisha, you have to take your mask off. Seriously, I did not understand what he meant, but then he explained to me. One day, I was not able to do it because we are scared. Oh, we will be judged. All right, people would have opinions about me. Frankly speaking, I'm using the slang language, but I just say give a damn about what people would think about you, right? Because when you shine your light, you're going to be changing a lot of lives. So don't be bothered about those people who are going to judge you or going to have opinions, because you know what, those are the broke people. Those are the people who are never going to do anything in their life. So don't stop yourself from shining your light on people so that you can change their lives, right? Because it is difficult, it's very difficult right now. I just go ahead and say it. But the first time when I was going to share my story, I was really scared. But it's just because of my mentor that I could do it, because their relatives, their friends, there's so many people watching you. But I just did it. And today I'm so glad I did it. So this is your number one priority. I told you how to get vulnerable, share your stories in Facebook Lives, write posts, and you will feel so good about it. And that's how you will be building a tribe for yourself. That's how you will be creating a small, a strong personal brand, because that's how people would know what you are all about. Second thing is value. Again, very important, a very important pillar of personal branding. This is how you know your target market, and then you share your value. Value is simply educating people, right? My marketing strategy has always been education, and I have always kind of away from competition, because I have always liked to create my own space. So I do education marketing, right? I tell people what they need. My marketing is demand creation, right? That has been my strategy all the time, right? So this is what I do. I educate people on what they need. I mean, I do both kind of marketing, but this is always has been my primary marketing strategy, that I educate people that this is a challenge that you don't know, and this is how I can help you with your challenge. Right? Because everyone is, just sharing solutions to challenges. Should be people who should be able to say that, yeah, you know what, this is a challenge, this is a new thing, you should be doing it. Just like, that's how inventions come, right? Light bulb. While everyone was creating lanterns and different things, Edison went ahead and created the light bulb, right? Then Wright brothers created the airplanes. So this is what you gotta do. You gotta create stuff. You have to, and for that you need to identify more challenges that people have. That's so important. Third is relationship building. Relationships are so important in this world. It doesn't matter how many people you know, but who you know. That is so important. I repeat it again. It doesn't matter how many people you know, but who you know is important, right? You should be getting in our network is our net worth. So you should be really consciously creating your net worth. That is so important. You got to be building relationships constantly. And these three pillars or these three things are woven into each other. That's how it works. Like, you're just sharing your story, you're sharing value, but you are not interacting with the people who are coming, who are like giving you likes or love on your post, or who are interacting with you. You got to reach out to them, right? Some people will reach out to you, and most of the time you should be reaching out to people and try to know what their challenge is, how can you help them. That's very, very important, right? It's so important that you help people, because leaders, right, that's what leaders do. They help people, they show them what they have special in them, and they go ahead and create more leaders, right? That's what they do. So here, like in our network marketing business model is a leadership based business model, right? Until and unless you introduce yourself as a leader, you will not be successful. And for being a leader, you got to be sharing value. You got to be setting examples. You got to be having a big network of people, right? And the first thing is you got to be vulnerable. You got to show them what you are. So these three pillars, pay attention to it and start working on it if you're not. Content is the heart of personal branding. This is like, without, if you're not sharing the content the right way, if your content is not strategic, again, there's going to be a problem in your personal brand. Use your personal brand to start getting credible placements in relevant third party publications and channels to get your content syndicated, right? In addition to ongoing content creation that you publish on sites and profiles that you control, it's critical to show others and search engines you are relevant and knowledgeable, all right? Publishing on well respected and high quality platforms helps establish this kind of credibility. I'll give you an example to it. So the first thing, I'd just like to elaborate a bit on it. So when you're creating content, it has to serve your target market, right? Like I said, it has to be highly strategic. And then you can't just share the same content on all social media channels just like it is, right? You have to make changes to it, right? For example, Instagram is all about pictures, but you gotta be telling stories with pictures, right? You should really know how to tell stories with your pictures. That's what Instagram is all about. Facebook is different, right? You can share long posts, you can actually share your mind there, whatever you're thinking on Facebook, right? Twitter is just you can share links or maybe two liners. It's what, 140 characters? That's what you're doing if it's not increased, right? So you're doing this. But on LinkedIn, it's totally different because your target market is entrepreneurs and professionals, right? They're sophisticated people. So your content for LinkedIn will be different. Now, this what I'm saying is, I had my personal blog. Okay, I've always had a blog. I've been writing for a long time now, and I thought that, you know what, I needed to get some recognition for my writing. So what I did is I reached out to one of the editors of one of the top newspapers in India, right? So I said that, you know what, I want to write for you. So she said, all right, do you have any experience in writing? I said, well, I do a blog. And I sent her a link to my blog. She really liked it, and then guess what happened? Started working as a freelance feature writer for that newspaper, which is like one of the top newspapers in India, right? I used to write articles. I mean, for past 2 years I've not been very active, but I'm starting again. I used to write articles on LinkedIn. So, you've got this feature in LinkedIn where you can post your articles, right? I just did that, and I managed to get attention of some great editors. So that's how then, the editor of Harvard Business Review reached out to me, and I published my article in Harvard Business Review, which is quite a prestigious publication, right? So this is how I have done things, right? First, I created a digital infrastructure for myself. I started writing on it, and then I shared my whatever work I did. I shared it with the key people, and I got myself published. Right now, I have a great portfolio, right? Because I've studied journalism, I know media, so I know how to write, right? So this is how I married my skills and my experience, and this is how I used it for, positioning myself in the key places where I wanted to be. This was my strategy, right? So you don't do anything randomly. You just have to create a strategy, right? So that's so important. If you want to be published in Forbes, you want to be published in in all these top magazines, these top platforms, you actually have to have a strategy to position yourself. So you already need to be writing, you hone your skills, and then create a nice blog for yourself. You can create a free blog on WordPress. Yeah, you don't need to spend money. That's what you do. Everything has to have a strategy. Everything, right? And like if you want to be super successful, you really need to curate your content well, right? So that's the reason you need to have your brand vision. What do you want to be? Because I just want to be on all these top publications, right? So I have a vision. So whatever I'm doing, it is, it is in sync with the vision that I have. And that's exactly what you have to do. So well, thank you people. That's how you create a personal brand. You can find me on Facebook. I have a group, or I have a page, Success with Trisha Malika Ghosh. You can find me there. And I hope this has helped. If you have any questions, feel free to ask us.
All right. Thank you very much, Trisha. That was amazing. That was very, very good. I'm thoroughly impressed. You know your stuff. Well,
Thank you, Sylvie.
yes, very good, very good. So you touched on a few things there that really, really struck home with me. The three pillars. Okay, the first one, let me just talk about vulnerability for a minute as well. Something that I also realized when I was early in my journey online. I've only been online about 6-7 months now, right? And the first thing that my mentor, who we share the same mentors, they told me, you have to take your mask off, right? And you have to be vulnerable. And I didn't really know what it meant, right? Until I started going live on Facebook or going in my private group and talking to my other guys on my team and actually telling them about my journey and telling them about where I'm at in my life for real, like just saying, well, where are you at in life? Well, I'm here. I've had these difficulties and I'm going through this, and this is how I'm going to get to the other side. And, thanks for showing me the light, basically, is what I said to my mentors, right? And in that process, not only does your brand come out because you start realizing who you are, but other people see your brand possibly even before you do, right?
Exactly.
They see who you really are. And then it's up to you, your personal self, to figure yourself out. So that's really important. I really enjoyed that. Providing value, that is what's missing in our marketplace, right? Our mentors talk about it all the time. I've never got so much value from so many different types of people that are in our community. But the thing is, so many people go about this business thinking it's a sales job, right? They think they're going to pitch their company, when in reality, they should be building a brand, as you said, and they should be providing value, which is what we're doing here today.
Exactly.
Okay? And then the third pillar you talked about was building relationships, of course. Building relationships, and how this is a friends for life business model, right? We're not here to sell somebody something. We're here to make friends for life, business partners for life, who share the same values, who have the same vision, who have the same goals, and who are willing to lock arms with people like us that are motivated and hungry to make a full-time income online, right? and move forward with those people. And if your brand is on point, guys, if your brand is what you want it to be, if it's actually shining your true self, I'm telling you now, you're not going to have a hard time attracting your tribe, because as Trisha said, they will come to you as long as you're authentic, right? If you're not authentic, people will come to you, but they won't be the right people because they're attracted to something that you're actually not, right? And that's a trap, right? That's a trap a lot of people fall into, right, Trisha? Like a lot of people will put pictures of themselves, you know, I don't know, in front of a Ferrari, but they don't even own the Ferrari, right? Or they'll talk about how they made X amount of dollars, but they didn't. And all of these fake claims, people can see through that, right? People can see through that, and that's not what we're here for. We're not here to look at someone and stroke their ego. We're here to look at someone and see, is that person a good partner for me in my world, in my business? And if they're not real, if they're not authentic, the obvious answer is no, because they have a massive ego and that blocks them from any abundance that could be coming their way, right?
That's right.
So those 3 pillars were amazing. Did you want to add anything else, Trisha, or do you want me to talk a little bit more? Do you have anything else you want to add there?
Yeah, I would just say start building your personal brand right away. Like now you've got a lot of stuff, a lot of information. And like I said, it's actually a process. It doesn't happen overnight. You got to do the lives, you got to do the writing, and you have to be very strategic. Strategy is very important. Like I just gave an example on how I worked on this strategy of getting published in the top publications. You need to have a strategy. And I would just say never ever fake it till you make it, because you will never make it by faking it. So I'll just tell you one more thing. What we do here, Sivi and I belong to an amazing community. That's Black Ops, right? And I do these interviews with my team members who have succeeded. So what we do here is we don't just talk about how much money a person has made, because it's not about the money, right? What I do is I share the journey of the person. Like, you know what? If you're making $10,000, $15,000, and you just put it on your wall, seriously, people would say, yeah, right, good for you. And they'll just, scroll down. What do you, if you want people to actually notice your results, what you're going to do is you have to share your story of how you got into those $15,000, right? If you really want to attract the right people. Because if you're like just say, oh, I made $15,000, I made $30,000, people will not pay attention, because it's going to be, oh, yeah, you can do it, I can't do it. But if you share your story, right, your ups and downs, the tears that you shed, the frustration that you went through, the hours that you put into work, and what made you earn that money, it's something that people will really pay attention to. They would relate to it, and that's how they will come to you. That I gave you a big strategy here, because that's what we do. And yes, this be very, very authentic. Don't boast, don't show off, because it doesn't work in marketing, it doesn't work anywhere.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, as you scroll through Facebook and you go into these different groups of people, you see so much of that happening, and it's really a turnoff, and it doesn't attract me at all. I always have in my mind what attracts me, right? What am I attracted to? And then that's what I want to produce as well as my content, because
exactly,
if I find it turning off, or I find it, I don't want any part of that either. So I agree completely with you. That is completely right. I love it. So if you guys want to lock arms, we can make an impact together. We can build brands together. That's what we do. We're really looking forward to 2019. It's going to be an amazing year. There's a button below. You can click Get Started now. We'll see you on the other side, and we will see you next Tuesday, where we will go over storytelling. All right?
Exactly. We will tell you how to share your vulnerability in the form of stories.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, well, thank you very much, Trisha. Very insightful. I appreciate your time so much today. And we will see you guys next Tuesday for storytelling. See you there.
Thank you, Sivi. I really enjoyed myself, and I'm really looking forward to these Tuesdays. So it's gonna be every Tuesday, 7 p.m. PST. Sivi and I are gonna come and help you. You can come with your questions, you can come with your challenges, and we're gonna be we'll be super happy to help you out with it.
That's right. Excellent. All right, everybody. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye for now.